Hi there. This is Amy Marone with the Healer Within podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to welcome Staci Cahill, owner of Essential Wholeness for You, as our podcast guest today. Welcome, Staci.
Thank you, Amy. I am so excited to be here today.
Oh, thank you so much for your time. We have so many exciting things to learn about Staci and her businesses. And Staci, I just want to open our dialogue today about asking you how you ended up working in this spirit infused businesses and just start from wherever your heart is leading you.
Honestly, it was 2011. 2011 is where this all started. And I got into doTERRA first, not really looking for a business. In fact, adamantly not wanting to do a business with doTERRA. But my daughter was really sick when she was little. She was diagnosed with asthma when she was 9 months old. And had her first major attack when she was 11 months old and put on life support. And the doctors weren't really sure if she was going to make it. She was struggling with allergies and asthma and bronchitis and pneumonia all at the same time. And it was just a really rough week. After that, she was hospitalized somewhere around 18 times within the next 24 months and was on a plethora of prescription medications, including inhalers that she needed every 2 hours around the clock, which means neither one of us were sleeping. And, she was just turning 3 about that time. 2-year-olds are trouble enough. 2-year-olds on a bunch of steroids and a bunch of medications. It was trying for both of us. And I wasn't really looking for something else per se, but I knew what we were doing wasn't working. I had grown up in a home where, we had a lot of natural solutions as our primary care. So I knew this isn't where I wanted to go, but it was also such a life and death, touch and go situation for years with her that I was scared to look at anything else. It first started with just doing another elimination diet because I was determined to get to the bottom of what was happening. And the doctors had tested her for anything and everything they could think of to figure out what was causing her to be so reactive. And long story short, I found out that she is allergic, intolerant to food additives, food preservatives, and food dyes. So she didn't have any major allergies, the gluten, the dairy, nuts, all of those things that are normally the culprit. But anything that had the preservatives in it or food dyes and many of the food additives would send her into a asthma attack. So I was putting 2 and 2 together, figuring things out. I was at a craft fair with her and I saw a doTERRA booth and, people had told me about it several times. But I was very, like I said, very resistant. Like that's a fun little foo-foo side job, not what I need for my real life health issues.
Sure.
But there was people there that I didn't know, so I went up and I talked to them, and they noticed that my daughter was coughing, and as asthmatics do, she had not really stopped coughing most of her life, and so the gal asked if Katrina could smell this breathe oil. And of course I was like, sure, she can smell it. Like I knew that they were clean products. I knew they were natural. So I said, sure. And she put a drop of oil in her hand and just started waving her hands like this in front of my daughter. And Katrina stopped coughing. And it was the first time in years that she didn't cough in a 5 or 10 minute time frame. And I knew that there was something was happening. So I borrowed a book from this lady that was all about essential oils and full of research and evidence-based medical journals documenting what essential oils could do. I literally stayed up all night that night reading that book cover to cover, knowing that this was an answer that I didn't even know I was looking for. I also had a sample of that breathe oil she gave me to take home, and every couple hours when I would normally give her inhalers, I put the essential oils on her feet. Again, because she is so sensitive, I didn't want to put them near her mouth, and her feet was close enough. And it worked. And that first night, she did not need an inhaler all night.
Oh
She
my
was able
goodness.
to breathe on her own. She slept well. And I knew that I had just found an answer to prayer. So that's where it all started. Over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, I had a lot of people noticing the shift that it made in my daughter. One, her pediatrician helped her get off of all of her medications, and she was completely managing her asthma with diet, lifestyle choices, and essential oils. Uh, and we had friends and family coming to us going, what are you doing? What's different? And all I could say is, I don't know. It's these oils and they're working. Just keep praying that this is the answer that we need. And the more I learned, the more I shared, the more people were coming to me like, do you think it would help with this? And I'm like, I don't know, but I know here's what I can tell you about the safety of it. Here's what I can tell you about the company and the product and where they're sourced. And if you want to try it, I'm happy to help you try. And we saw so many immediate results for so many people for different health challenges, which was really, it was just, it was so rewarding personally.
Yes.
But what I think I noticed the most was that people were having hope again. And that's really what got me stuck on this business idea. It wasn't the sales. I was a single mom. I mean, I didn't need one more thing on my plate.
Sure, sure.
But when I kept helping friend after friend and colleague after colleague find hope on a health situation that they had given up on, like, this is just, we're stuck here. It was an amazing, eye-opening experience that just transformed the rest of the trajectory of my life and my daughter's life.
Wow. It's different, Staci, when an idea is spirit infused versus via human engineering. In other words, everything just happens organically, doesn't it?
Yes.
You find something that works for you and that you really believe in, it begins to come up in conversations naturally and organically, and people start to get curious.
Yes.
And they push past their myths about something like this and the value that it could potentially add in terms of turning down the volume on symptoms that aren't very well addressed in the Western medicine world.
Right.
So amazing. Staci, what an incredible story. I want to push forward a little bit more to your more recent business and how you got from where you were to where you are now, because that's a very interesting story in and of itself.
It is. So I love that you lean into the spirit led, because I don't think there's a decision in my life that is not just grounded in a deep intuition and a deep spirit led decision. So I now have incorporated sound healing into my health and wellness practice. I've been doing that for about 2 years. And that also started not necessarily because I was looking to expand into that realm, but I, post-pandemic, was really grieving a loss of my team, both in people that had moved on or circumstances had changed. I was also missing the connection I had. I had spent the 10 years of my business teaching health and wellness classes about doTERRA and essential oils every week to the public. That was how I built my business. And post-pandemic, I really struggled to get people to come out of their houses. Either they were afraid and they didn't want to come out, or they just had gotten accustomed to staying home, and there was a disconnect. And my soul was longing to have human connection again, to be able to reach to people and to see the hope in their eyes when they tried something new. And I spend a lot of time in prayer and talking with my business coach and going, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to do classes again, but people don't want to come out, and I can do them online, but it's just not the same. And what do I do? And, when you put that out into the universe, and I kept questioning, like, what do I do? What am I going to do next? How am I going to overcome this obstacle?
Mhm.
I got invitations to go to sound baths, and I got somebody saying, "Hey, I just saw this sound bath training. Do you know anybody who might be interested?" And all of these hints just kept dropping in: sound healing, sound baths, sound therapy. And I'm like, well, I've done that. Like, that sounds like fun. I could look at that. So I started exploring it as a business opportunity to overcome that obstacle. I can reconnect with people. I can hopefully get them out of their house, come to an event that is just dripping with heart support and connection. And in doing that, I found as soon as I got the bowls, I started the training first, and it was all learning, like things that I already know, similar to plants and essential oils. Sound has a vibration and a frequency, so it was very much in alignment what I was doing.
Mhm.
And then I got my hands on the bowls and I started to play. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I have quickly come to admit that my sound healing therapy practice for others is just as much a benefit for me as it is for them.
Completely.
I
I get it. I get
I
it.
love it. The first time I played with my bowls and felt that vibration,
Mhm.
my soul was at rest in a way that it hadn't been in years. And so I started offering sound baths to get people to come out, and I would pair them with essential oil
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I started doing them individually, where I'm just doing a sound bath, and here's an oil that I'm diffusing or using during the sound bath, or
Oh,
private sessions that stand alone, where one way or the other. But it has opened up a whole nother door to not just another modality that I can use to help people, but a whole open door to my heart that I didn't even know was missing. And now I'm like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Uh,
yes.
and not an either or, right? Like there's
Uh-huh.
times it's like, well,
Completely.
now you're on this path and you should do this. I'm like, oh no, I'm not forgetting
Yeah.
my roots. I love my oils,
Yes.
but together there's a synergy that is amazing.
Absolutely. And I find in the work that I do, mostly serving light workers, they're so multifaceted in terms of their creativity and their curiosity in the
Yes.
multiple modalities. So I hardly ever see a light worker just doing one thing. It seems like every handful of years they're integrating yet again another amazing one of the healing tools or healing arts. So I commend you for that. Staci, I'd also love to share with others who are listening or watching this podcast more about where you've been with your sound baths. Where have you been thus far, and where can people find you with
Yeah.
any sort of regularity? So, because you've been very creative with where you've shown up in sound baths. So let's learn a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started off, and my most consistent location is at a chiropractor's office
Uh-huh.
here in my hometown in Monroe.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and he's a guy that has supported my business for years, and so he has the space. And I do a monthly sound bath in his space,
Mhm.
and it can hold up to 20, 25 people in there easily. So I do that one once a month, usually on a Friday night. I also have done a lot of standalone one-off type things. I do a lot of retreats, either as a co-collaborator or organizer, or I've done retreats where I'm just the guest and I come in and I offer the sound healing
Mhm.
for their guests, either as a group, as a session in the retreat, or as an add-on service where people can have a private sound healing session
Oh,
while they're at the retreat. Uh,
oh,
that's something I love doing retreats. I've traveled down to Utah to do a retreat down there with some friends, and I've also done sound baths in like corporate settings at like a doTERRA event with 100 people where they come to gather and we just start the session with a brief 5 or 10 minute guided meditation and sound bath just to get everybody grounded and in the right space.
oh, beautiful.
And then just this last weekend, this sounds kind of awful, but it might be my favorite favorite sound bath that I've ever done because I was asked to come and do a short sound bath at a memorial service. And I had never really thought of that.
Yeah.
The me the moment was so beautiful. Like I get a little choked up just thinking about it because
Yeah.
here's all these loved ones gathered in his home to honor him and remember him and his passing. And they took, 20 minutes and paused and participated in a sound bath with me, which was something that he was very passionate about and integrated into his daily practices, meditation and sound bath. And it was such a beautiful way to honor him. And I was so touched that his wife invited me to come and be part of that service. Then again, it was one of those, I never would have thought of it doing a memorial. So that wasn't in my business plan.
Yeah.
That wasn't in my must do. And yet it was such a beautiful way to witness and bear witness to a group of people walking through grief and being able to see them in that moment in his home, just pause. And, some had emotional releases and some had, you could tell that they were just able to relax in a time that had been stressful, right? Whenever you're processing in grief. And it was so beautiful to be able to be part of that. So I don't know what that looks like in the future, but it just opened my eyes to sound therapy can be anywhere from one-on-one to group to corporate to very personal. Sure. I love exploring that with guests, like whatever they're looking for, we can tailor an event specific to them and what their needs are.
Oh, Staci, that's beautiful and brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. One of the things I love to ask light workers on this podcast is to share some of their wisdom with other budding or even well-established spiritual entrepreneurs. Just any bit of wisdom that you've experienced from your life or from your business or your current business model. What can you share with others who might want to do something in the healing arts or expand upon what they're doing currently?
Absolutely. I think this is such a powerful question because like you said, what we're called to, what we're looking into, where our life is supposed to be. Yes, it's about us and who we can serve and what we can do, but it's where you're being called to be, where there's a need and you are the right person to fill that need. Yeah. So my biggest wisdom and advice for anyone who has that nudge of maybe I should, or is this for me, is to, get consults, talk to your business plan, your family, whoever it is that speaks wisdom into your life, but ultimately turn into your own intuition. Like those messages are not dropped on your heart for no reason. If you are thinking it, if it's been brought into your space, there's probably a reason. And sometimes that reason might be that you are the messenger where you get the inspiration and it's for somebody else. But more often than not, it's really that you are the only you this world will ever have. You're the only person who has that unique skill set, those strengths, that timing for what you're called to. And I think we get so busy and we doubt ourselves so much and get distracted by the clutter of the world that often we forgot to listen to ourselves. Yes. So that's my big advice.
Yes.
Trust your inner wisdom, your intuition. And when you're called to it, boldly step into it because there's a purpose for that. We need you.
Staci, such beautiful wisdom, so eloquently stated. And I appreciate it. I need your oils. Sniffing in peppermint, and I'm excited to have some of your product in my hypnotherapy space. Staci and I absolutely will be co-creating something in the future where we bring forth some guided meditation and maybe self-hypnosis and energy healing along with her amazing healing art forms. And so we'll be excited to announce that in the future. Staci, I want to make it as easy as possible for listeners and viewers to find you. So let's talk about your website, how it's organized, and any future upcoming events where people can catch some of your magic. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's website is just stacicahill.com, Staci with an I, Cahill with a C. And on my website, there are a couple of tabs to a blog, as well as one that is specific to sound healing and one that is more specific to doTERRA. So you can easily come and explore either thing. The website is recently being updated, so there's still a little hint of the past homeschooling pieces that were on there, but it's all part of me, so I'm not taking that away. But it's pretty cut and dry now to be able to find doTERRA and sound healing, and there'll be more content and blogs pouring in over the next couple months. Also, I am on social media on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. All of them have the same handle, which is my business name, Essential Wholeness for You. That's the number 4 and the letter U. And you can find me and follow me on all of those. This summer, my most exciting thing is I am doing some pop-up sound baths. I really want to reach the community and expose more people to sound healing. And those people who have never heard of it or may not be interested or know what it is, I'm going to show up at local parks and beaches and public spaces and do just a sound bath for anybody who's in the area free of charge. To know where I will be, you'll want to get on my mailing list, which you can get onto either through the website or my social media. And that's probably the easiest way to find me this summer is at a pop-up event. They'll be anywhere around the Puget Sound, probably a little bit further because I do love to go and adventure. And then I also, like I said, have the monthly sound baths in Monroe, the second Friday of the month. So you can attend that as well. Those ones are by reservation. And again, on my website, there's a link to find those. And beyond that, reach out. I would love to connect with you and tailor an event specific to you or help you find some help with the right doTERRA products. And even my email is essentialwholenessforyou@gmail.com. So pretty easy to find anywhere that you might be connecting with others.
Oh, Staci, I'd love to be your groupie. Just following you around. I'm excited, to learn more about the sound healing, about the oils. For anybody who's watching or listening, I'm definitely going to produce a transcript. And Staci, I will absolutely put all of your website, your email, your social media links in the posts that I do on YouTube and on the Spotify podcast and on my social media. I appreciate you so much, Staci. I appreciate all the light and the love and the healing energy you bring onto this earth plane. We desperately need it. We desperately need you. I am excited to help you make more connections and reach a wider audience through some of my platforms and venues. Thank you wholeheartedly for your time, your graciousness, and the wealth of information that you've provided about your healing modality and the tools that you're using. Staci, thank you again.
Thank you, Amy. This has been such a treat. I just love being in your space and in your energy. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to see what we can create together.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that. And again, for those who are listening or watching, you can find all of my podcasts, including previous podcasts, on my website at sensoriumhypnosis.com. And again, this is Healer Within. Most people find it on Spotify, but you can find it kind of all over the place now. Different podcasts, there are so many of them. Staci, again, thank you. And I look forward to co-creating some things together in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Thanks to the listeners and watchers out there. Take care. Bye now.